Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources.
Washington Post World, January 4, 1242 America, New York. Hong Kong's Lam. Media closures unrelated to press freedom. Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam says that the recent closure of 2 media outlets in the city cannot be associated with the state of media freedoms in Hong Kong, as the decisions were made by the outlets themselves. Washington Post World, January 4, 1221 America, New York. Cambodia activist briefly detained after protest in shackles. Cambodian security forces have briefly detained a Cambodian-American lawyer who is a prominent rights activist as she walked barefoot near the Prime Minister's residence in the capital of Phnom Penh. Washington Post World, January 4, 1201 America, New York. There was an epidemic of coups in 2021. The new year hasn't cured the political turmoil. The problems caused by coups in Myanmar, Sudan and elsewhere are not going away for the Biden administration. RT World News, January 4, 5:33 America, New York. Artificial sun hits record temperature. China's clean energy experiment reaches temperature 5 times hotter than the sun. A clean energy experiment known as the artificial sun reached a temperature of 70 million C and held it for more than 17 minutes during trials in China.
January 4, 5:27 America, New York. China's longest underwater highway tunnel opens. After nearly 4 years of construction, China's longest underwater highway tunnel is now open to vehicle traffic. January 4, 5:27 America, New York. How a child's kidnapping shone a light on an alleged plot to topple the French government. Armed with homemade explosives, fueled by conspiracy theories and fermented during the pandemic, French authorities say the overthrow was a potentially dangerous creation. January 4, 5:18 America, New York. Naomi Osaka secures win in first appearance after 4-month break. Naomi Osaka made a triumphant return to tennis in her first match since her hiatus from the sport, defeating Alizé Cornet in the 2022 Melbourne Summer Set.
RT World News, January 4, 5:18 America, New York. Omicron pushes health service into state of crisis. Medical professionals in the UK have warned that the health service is in a state of crisis due to soaring Omicron cases. New York Times World News, January 4, 5:11 America, New York. What is the IOC doing about forced labor concerns in China? It won't say. Olympic officials are reluctant to probe whether any Beijing 2022 merchandise might have been made under duress by Uyghurs, an activist group charges. Official Olympic merchandise at a store in Beijing. Washington Post World, January 4, 5:08 America, New York. GitHub shuts down Indian website, auctioning Muslim women. Women who publicly criticized Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bharatiya Janata Party, which is pursuing an agenda that emphasizes Hindu primacy, were among the targets.
World CBS News, com. January 4, 5 o'clock America, New York. China denies it's working to rapidly expand its nuclear arsenal. Beijing says it's modernizing its nukes but denies U.S. claims of rapid expansion, and China won't discuss constraints unless U.S. and Russia drastically reduce arsenals.
BBC News World, January 4, 4:49 America, New York. Bully by Indian man arrested for fake auction of Muslim women. The Indian app shared photos of several prominent Muslim women in a fake auction, sparking outrage.
Washington Post World, January 4, 4:46 America, New York. Sudan pro-democracy groups call for mass anti-coup protests. Sudanese pro-democracy groups are calling for mass anti-coup protests as the country plunges further into turmoil following the Prime Minister's resignation earlier this week. RT World News, January 4, 4:45 America, New York. Judge rules on U.S. Navy SEALs vaccination dispute. U.S. judge rules in favor of Navy SEALs refusing vaccination on religious grounds. A Texas court ruled that it would be unconstitutional for the U.S. Navy to punish service members seeking a religious exemption from President Joe Biden's vaccine mandate.
January 4, 4:43 America, New York. Hong Kong activist sentenced to 15 months in prison over unauthorized Tiananmen Square vigil. Hong Kong pro-democracy activist Chow Hang-tung was sentenced to 15 months in prison on Tuesday for her part in organizing an unauthorized vigil to commemorate the victims of the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre. January 4. 4:27 America, New York, China denounces Walmart for stupidity after Sam's Club accused of pulling Xinjiang products. Walmart has been swept up in controversy in China after one of its retailers was accused of removing products sourced from Xinjiang. It's more evidence of how difficult it has become for Western businesses to navigate international politics in China.
New York Times World News. January 4, 4:19 America, New York. Teacher arrested after injecting minor with what appeared to be a COVID-19 vaccine. She has since been removed from the classroom and is scheduled to appear in criminal court on January 21. Children under 18 need parental consent to receive vaccinations. Washington Post World. January 4, 4:13 America, New York. China Evergrande's $300 billion cash crunch is deepened by demolition order. The decree from authorities in the southern Chinese island of Hainan has plunged the embattled property giant into a fresh publicity crisis.
CNN.com World. January 4, 4:11 America, New York. Hong Kong activist sentenced to 15 months in prison over unauthorized Tiananmen Square vigil. Hong Kong pro-democracy activist Chow Hang-tung was sentenced to 15 months in prison on Tuesday for her part in organizing an unauthorized vigil to commemorate the victims of the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre.
RT World News. January 4, 3:59 America, New York. Haitian PM shot at by armed bandits and terrorists. Failed attempt on Ariel Henry's life comes less than 6 months after the country's president was assassinated.
BBC News World. January 4, 3:52 America, New York. Bee farming. Police stung as beekeepers protest in Chile. 4 beekeepers are detained following a protest calling for government support for their industry.
Washington Post World. January 4, 3:47 America, New York. Landslide in southwestern China kills 14 people, injures 3. A landslide at a construction site in southwestern China has killed 14 people and injured 3 others. Washington Post World. January 4, 3:40 America, New York. U.S.-led coalition. Attack with 2 armed drones foiled in Iraq. A U.S.-led coalition official in Iraq says 2 explosives-laden drones that targeted a military base housing U.S. troops in western Anbar province have been destroyed.